All right, today I have a very important video for those of you that have cancer or want to prevent cancer. Anytime you're searching for information about any condition, you want to learn from people that have been successful. I want to differentiate people that have been successful versus experts. Sometimes people that are experts don't really get success in their field, believe me. So I always like to study people that have gotten really good results personally or working with people who get results. And so today I want to introduce you to Guy, who had stage 4 cancer and basically didn't listen to all the conventional things that they were telling him, despite the confusion and the fear. And he decided to try some other things, but he went from stage 4 cancer to no cancer. So this is very important because you want to find out what he did. So welcome, Guy. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Eric, to have me.
And you when you first found out, I want to get some details first. So when you first found out you had cancer, what year was that, or what month was that?
It was in August 2018.
Okay.
And
18.
They discovered that I have 55 PSA. So they sent me to the hospital. They made a biopsy. After the biopsy, I had 87. And when the oncologist called me, come right away, I understood, of course. Yeah. And it was a very bad news because he told me, it's too late. We can do nothing for you. You will die in 3 months maximum. So I was, you can imagine.
I can't imagine.
And, yes. And after I was desperate, but after a while, I start searching. I say in my mind, it's not possible. I will find a way. And I search, I discover nothing. I say always this. I find in the publication on PubMed, Nature, all this, it's written what we have to do. And I don't understand why oncologist doesn't know that. My oncologist told me, keep doing what you are doing because it's work. But they are not interested to do the same. That's why I need you. I need you to spread the word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what Guy is basically explaining is there are great publications, documentations that do work, but a lot of the mainstream doctors are not looking at those, and some of them are stuck between a rock and a hard place because you are to practice medicine, and you don't have the freedom to do other things, unfortunately. So when you start to become alternative, you become attacked. So I do understand that viewpoint. I totally understand that. You sent me the recent report from your doctor. Now it's probably been, it's been what, 4 years right now. You're supposed to be dead long ago, 4 years ago, but you are still alive. And he still to this day did not put, free of cancer, because his viewpoint is like, well, we don't want to talk about that. We only want to talk about if you have a disease. But I mean, like, they didn't want to even mention it. I don't know. It's like they're hesitant of mentioning that because of some reason. But your lymph nodes have come down to normal. The holes in your bones, your rib cage have healed. Your PSA is fine. Like, all these indicators are normal. So it's just interesting how what we're really up against with this cancer thing. And I just want to say one thing is that this video, we have nothing to sell people. We're not going to sell supplements. We're not going to have anything. The main thing is we want to get out information that potentially can help you. And we're not making any claims. Of course, check with your doctor before implementing what we're about to tell you. But you need to know this. And there's a couple things Guy did that the first thing I want to tell them is the fasting. You started doing some serious fasting. I mean, I'm talking like prolonged fasting on steroids. I think you did like a 5-day and then a 21-day. And I think you did up to, was it 40 days of fasting at one time?
45 days, but
45 days. Yeah. So here's the thing. The worse off you have cancer, right? Because he had like 3 months to live, the more strict you need to do this prolonged fasting. And I would have done the same thing, even if I got really, really, really skinny and had no fat to live off of. But the fasting, hands down, is the most potent thing you can do to kill cancer, because it aligns all of your immune cells to fight it. It strengthens the system. The ketones generated from fasting are very therapeutic for anti-cancer compared to even the ketones from the diet. So I'm not going to get too much into that, but I just want to say that it's literally almost impossible for a cancer cell to survive when you're fasting. So it's a survival mechanism. So your body just does very, very well on many different levels. So that's the first thing, is the fasting. If you have stage 4, I don't think there's any other way at this point to survive if you don't include the prolonged fasting. So that's the first thing. The second thing is a very fascinating nutritional protocol that when you did your research, you stumbled on this famous French scientist whose name is Maurice Israel, who is retired, but a master in biochemistry. And he's an MD and has also his PhD in biochemistry. He's done research his whole life. He really understands biochemistry, probably more than anyone I've ever talked to. There's a certain enzyme in your body, and we won't even give it a name. It's just called SCOT, okay? And this SCOT stands for this long chemical name, is a pathway that very uniquely feeds cancer cells to build their membrane, not necessarily fuel, but to build the membrane around the cancer cell, right? And so his theory was if we were to inhibit this pathway, that would be a really good strategy to kill the cancer cells by inhibiting this enzyme called SCOT, right? So go ahead.
yes. I would like to precise something.
Okay.
You spoke about fasting and you spoke about ketones. But for that, we don't know really. What we know, Nobel Prize 2016, Osumi, a Japanese guy, it's autophagy. Of course, you know what is autophagy. And is autophagy related with ketones? We are not really sure. What we know is that today it's 2 types of ketones. One act as a signalization, and this one is very good for cancer. One is the nutriment for the cancer, and this one is very bad for the cancer. Very bad for us, very good for the cancer. But anyway, we know today what we have to do. We don't know exactly what is the mechanism who kill the cancer cells. We know that if we inhibit SCOT, the cancer cannot build its membranes. And when the cancer cannot build its membranes, it cannot survive. It's like a diver very deep without air. Mm-hmm. And I think my last exam, the PSMA, shows that very clearly, because I had no cancer cells at all. Even everybody builds each day cancer cells. And why I don't have any? I suppose because the cancer cannot build, because of inhibition of SCOT, or because of DHA, EPA, you know all this. But that's why we have to finish this research to find what people have to do without be so extreme like me, because since I made my website, I had 9 million views, not so powerful than yours, of course, but a lot of people wrote to me, oh no, I cannot do it, I cannot do it. So we have to find a way to save them, and we are not far away.
So let me just explain for those of you that don't know, Guy and I funded a research in Europe with mice, and we compared the top chemotherapy with, which by the way, inhibits SCOT as one of their actions. And it kills the cancer cells, but it kills our immune cells too. So it's like using too much force, right? So, oh yeah, we killed the cancer, but we killed the body as well. So, and then we compare that to using natural SCOT inhibitors, okay? Natural SCOT inhibitors. And there's a whole series of them. I think that we might have used 5, roughly, might have been 6. And then apparently this study showed some really great promising results. Compared to the chemo, it killed, I think, was it 80% of the cancer, or it might have been 78% of the cancer. Now, my question was because Maurice Israel, I asked him, because he helped us design the study. I said, he didn't do the study, we did the study, but he just kind of gave us advice. I said, well, why didn't the natural SCOT inhibitors, why wasn't that 100% successful compared with the chemotherapy? And this is what he said. He said, because the tumor is not just 100% of the cancer cells. It has a certain percentage of your own immune cells. And so these natural SCOT inhibitors that block this cancer pathway, or this food to the membrane, it doesn't seem to negatively affect our own cells, the host cells. So the reason why it wasn't 100% is because we shrunk the tumor down to, and this is our guess, down to our own immune cells, which it didn't harm that. So we want to do more research, figure out some other additional natural SCOT inhibitors. But the fact is, and I will put the link down below of this, the results of our study, it was very, very significant and very exciting, because the problem is, how could the average person do what Guy did, the intense fasting for 40 days, 21 days? I mean, it's not easy. Not everyone can do that. They don't have the discipline, despite what condition they have. So what we want to do is see if it's possible for humans to do the SCOT inhibitors and not have to do such extreme fasting. Now, with the mice experiment, we found that they didn't do any fasting. We just did the SCOT inhibitors. But of course, we did not do this experiment on humans. So we're just now really looking at all the different options and see what we can do. But it sounds promising. I'm excited about it. And if I personally had cancer, I would do exactly what Guy did. He summarized all the things he did in his book that he has on, it's a Kindle book, and it's actually an actual book too. And it's very, very expensive. I think I'm just kidding. It's free, basically. You're giving it away for free. So he summarizes all the details. But this video is just kind of giving you the highlights of what's in that book and what he did to give people some options that are non-toxic, because it doesn't matter if the chemo worked, if the chemo ends up killing your body, right? Killing off your immune cells. Guy, can you just tell people generally what type of foods you ate throughout this process?
During this process, I found on PubMed all food who can kill cancer cells. Yeah. Then broccoli sprout, of course, garlic, onions, and I find a guy who made a book and a list. It's a Canadian professor, and he tried all the food who kill cancer cells. So I ate only this during almost 2 years. And more than that, to not kill the nutrients inside this food, I didn't cook it. I ate it raw.
You ate a lot of things that are known to kill cancer. The other thing I want to mention about eating raw vegetables, which is something I just recently found out. Do you realize, Guy, that the importance of the microbiome, the friendly bacteria, right? You know the importance of that. Did you also realize that the plant kingdom also has their own microbes, friendly bacteria in the plants too? So you're getting a lot of additional benefits that go even beyond just, fiber, nutrients. You're getting phytonutrients, which are the anti-cancer properties. I mean, all these plants develop these because they can't run away from pests and bugs. They have to develop their own chemicals to poison bugs. So you did that. Now, what about protein though? Did you get any protein, or at least a little bit, right? What
yes, because I realized about 2 years after that, I have no more muscle. I was skinny, and and no strength. Then I start eating protein. What I try to eat, eggs, of course, biologic eggs. Sardine, all the fish, everything not inflammatory, of course, and nothing inflammatory, except the chicken. I like the chicken from Costco, but it's a grade A. And my son told me, because I ate so much chicken in 4 years, and it cannot be bad because I'm healed.
Okay, good.
It's a joke, because good. At the same time, I took a lot of DHA, krill, oil. I ate sardine and olive oils, and I always try to be positive omega-3 and negative omega-6.
Because I think you did have some inflammation, and then that corrected it, because that's one thing. If you're fasting, you want to make sure you take your omega-3 fatty acids, very, very, very important, as well as vitamin D, electrolytes, the B vitamins. You also had a lot of garlic in your diet on a regular basis. Garlic is one of the best potent. I mean, it's virtually impossible to isolate one variable that did all the work, because what are you going to do? How many people do you have to run through like human experiments and just testing one thing? Okay, that didn't work. There's just millions of possibilities, right? So based on all the data and all the information, fasting is at the top of the list. The SCOT inhibitors seem to be the most promising. The foods that are anti-cancer, like garlic, cruciferous vegetables, they work on various angles. One would be killing cancer directly. Another would be inhibiting the blood vessels to the tumor and the cancer. When people get cancer in their lymph nodes, like you had cancer in your lymph nodes, they sometimes just take it out. But you decided, no, I'm not going to cut my lymph nodes. You have no surgery, because you found out from even medical doctors or oncologists some data that the lymph nodes are filters. And so now you're going to take out the filters? Like, that would not be a smart thing to do.
I discovered that on the publications that Weizmann Institute says that since years, that it's stupid to remove lymph nodes. And 3 years ago, I spoke with a lot of people. Why remove the filter? If you remove the filter, the cancer can pass very easily. The lymph node make a mass in the lymph node to cure it little by little. So my lymph node was 1.7 on the right side, disappear completely, nothing left. And on the other one, it was 3.1. After 1 year, 2.6, and today 2.2. So, and of course, no cancer cells, but the mass is still here. And you spoke before about 70%, because what I have inside, I have the macrophage. It's our immune system. And that's why it didn't disappear completely yet, because perhaps my body seems still needs my macrophage.
I flew to France to meet Maurice Israel, and it was an incredible experience. Super, super nice person, him and his wife, brilliant scientists. And so now what Guy and I want to do is continue to do this research, keep refining it to the point where we really have a lot more specific things that we can give people that are backed up by research. But I would like to just recommend that to get Guy's book, because he actually has in there a lot more information about this SCOT protocol, what he went through, his eating plan, and I'm going to put that link down below. And also, we created a summary, or I created a summary of the research that we did, and I'm going to put that video up right here. So check it out. And I want to thank you so much, Guy, for this interview. And I'll be talking to you soon with more videos.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you very much, Eric.